Now, if you take the concept of purification through oxidizers being blown into and coming into contact with microbes and gases, and you put them into a unit like our Guardian Air Ice, it allows you to take care of some really interesting applications. The unit shown here has a 9-inch PHI cell inside of it, and a 45 CFM fan mounted on top. That fan is going to draw air in over the PHI cell and push it out the two small outputs listed on the bottom that are 3/4 inch each. Because you've got such a small amount of air going over a 9-inch PHI cell, we're moving high concentration of these oxidizers, and you can hook up 3/4 inch hoses and run them into an ice machine, one into the head where ice is made, and one into the bin where ice is stored. In the head, it's going to do a great job reducing molds and yeasts that grow inside the ice machine, making cleaning a much simpler process. In the bin, it's going to destroy bacteria like Listeria and B. cereus on the surface of ice. People think because ice is cold, it doesn't grow microbes, but ice is water, it grows lots of microbes, and if you've ever seen a busboy dip a dirty 5-gallon bucket into a bin of ice to transfer it to the Coke machine, you know exactly what we're talking about. Bacteria on ice is said to cause over half of the food poisoning cases in the United States every year. We've had a lot of success with this product, installing it in any type of food application where there's an ice machine and they bake bread. The yeast from the baking process has a habit of getting into an ice machine and causing some of the worst and most difficult to clean growth, where a unit like this installed can eliminate those yeast cells as they're entering and help minimize the amount of time needed to clean that ice machine. With this product, you can also look beyond the single use of an ice machine into any application where you want to remote mount a unit to deliver oxidizers into a small space. These have been used successfully in walk-in coolers. They've been used successfully in deli cases at a supermarket, where you mount the unit under the case, run a hose into it to kill bacteria on the surfaces of meats, helping preserve their shelf life. For large spaces that don't necessarily have a central HVAC system to move oxidizers, we've developed our commercial air purification systems, or CAPS units. CAPS units come in two sizes: regular, which is rated to handle up to 5,000 square feet, and mini, rated to handle up to 1,500 square feet. With a high-volume 500 CFM fan and 3 different levels of operation, the CAPS unit is the perfect fit for treating a warehouse, large locker room, or any other area that doesn't necessarily have the ducting setup. The CAPS systems also come with customizable filter configurations, so you can make application-specific designs on them. Some common combinations are the pleated particulate filters for smoking applications, a carbon filter for high odor applications, a mercury filter for dental offices. Typically dental offices are pulling out old fillings from teeth, which can cause a lot of mercury to get into the air. VOC filters for nail salons or other high chemical applications. Radon filters, and fats, oil, and grease filters, which is a great fit for kitchens and restaurants. We recently had an RGF dealer sell a number of these larger CAPS units to a major grocery store chain for their bottle reclamation facilities. As you can imagine, a room with many bottles that have small bits of beer and soda left in them is quite a recipe for high odors. These CAPS systems installed managed to eliminate the odor and really create a much more pleasant experience for the shopper's customers. RGF also manufactures the product we call the AUV stick light, a basic UVC light for purification and irradiation of a coil or other object-specific application. The AUV stick light also comes with a catalytic reflector, standard on every unit. The reflector will bounce UV light back onto the surface of the coil, eliminating lost light due to shining away from the surface you're trying to purify. The catalyst on the reflector also acts as a PCO device, creating hydroxyl radicals which will destroy passing microbes and gases in the airstream. While not as effective as the Guardian Air or Remy products, this is a great product to sell in comparison to other PCO or UVC technologies. All Guardian Air PHI, Remy, and AUV units have a 2-year warranty on them from installation date. The cell on the unit is replaceable, so you don't need to purchase a new unit every 2 years. You do want to make sure that you proactively go out and change the cell between the 2 and 3 year period. UV lights have a tendency to start fading away and losing their intensity, meaning that you'll be producing less oxidizers after that 2 to 3 year period is up. Each RGF model number matches up to a different replacement cell, So be sure when you're looking for a replacement from your wholesaler to bring them the model number so they can accurately select which cell would be the correct replacement. Aside from regular bulb changes in that 2 to 3 year period, there's no other maintenance required on Guardian Air PHI and REMI units. The units have a fluoroplastic sleeve surrounding the bulb, which means the bulbs don't attract dust, and unlike traditional UV lights, don't need to be dusted every 30 to 60 days. Once they're in the ductwork, there's an LED illuminator on the back side of the unit, which should shine a nice bright blue glow, letting you know that the unit is still on and functioning correctly. We're going to spend a few moments touching on some of the testimonials and case studies that we have. Ultimately, RGF does not do a number of these installs ourselves. We manufacture the products, but the sales and installation is done by our network of AC contractor dealers across the country. Here are some of the feedback that they've gotten to us from the units. The Chicago Public Schools installed units in the Orland Park District. They saw a decrease in absenteeism by 15 to 20%. Since this public school's funding was based on their average daily attendance records, their school got an increase in funding from 15 to 20%. This is just one of a number of schools that we have done with RGF PHI and REMI units around the country. Egg Harbor Township in Egg Harbor, New Jersey installed hundreds of these units over 8 different buildings in their school district. Other districts have taken on smaller projects like Montgomery County Schools and a number of schools in Connecticut, outfitting an area of the building, a locker room, or a gymnasium perhaps. We've even helped do small privately owned preschool and daycare facilities like the Goddard School. Assisted living facilities have also installed our units. Usually, we'll do a central duct-mounted system to do the common areas, and individual plug-ins in each room to better control the individual odors of the residents. One assisted living facility was nice enough to document the cost savings from us after installation. The first and largest number on here is the $97,000 in annual revenue increase. They were only running at 66% capacity because the smells in the area were keeping potential residents away. The noticeable increase in indoor air quality not only resulted in them filling up their facility to 100% capacity, but also in generating a waiting list for them. They were also able to save $14,000 by not needing to replace carpet and bedding quite as often to combat the odors. And perhaps what I think is the most striking savings on here was $5,400 saved by eliminating odor cover-ups that they were purchasing. When you look at a traditional grocery store, you see there's an entire aisle dedicated to candles and incense and plug-ins and sprays and Febreze. And the reason that there's an entire aisle is because that stuff sells regularly. It's a multi-billion-dollar-a-year industry. And if I go in and I buy one $5 candle a week to try to make my house smell better, over the course of 2 years, that's going to cost me over $500 in just air quality improvement devices alone. So the point is that people are out there, they're already spending the money on it, and we need to try to transition them to a more effective solution rather than just trying to cover up odors that they come across. And last but least on here, we've got the list of potential applications. And the point of this slide is to show you that any building that could benefit from an improvement in indoor air quality could benefit from our PHI or REMI technology. Whether you're doing single-family homes, apartments, and townhomes, whether it's a bonus room, a den where somebody smokes cigars, a hobby shop where there's glue and adhesives, if you're doing office buildings with sick building syndrome, hospitals, doctors' offices, everything up to even morgues and jails. We've put these units in and successfully improved the indoor air quality, which in then return relates a host of other improvements to the facility over time. Thank you for listening to the 2010 RGF Indoor Air Quality web presentation. We hope you enjoyed it and got something out of it. We'll now take a moment to answer any questions that have been submitted to us during the presentation. Keep in mind that there's always more information available on our website, www.rgf.com, where you can see detailed information on the technologies under the Air Treatment section. Thanks again for attending.